Hey everybody, welcome back to the Pajamas podcast. This past weekend, I had the pleasure of going out to Atlanta with Trev and Jorge to check out the Holy Smoke Fest that Indie Tribe put on. And then for some reason with the flights, it made a lot more sense to go back to Trev's house in South Carolina and fly out from there as opposed to come back from Atlanta. But that left us, with an extra day where we just kind of hung out and eventually shot this podcast. So it was a pleasure to sit down with those two guys and, introduce Trev formally to you all. So I hope that you guys go check out Jorge and Trev's new song, Work. Hope you check out my new song, Numb, and I hope you appreciate, this conversation. It was really cool to finally sit down and do this podcast, especially with Trev, just because we haven't had him on yet, and it's something I've wanted to do for a while. But without further ado, we'll get into the episode, and I hope you guys enjoy it. Peace. Welcome back to the Pajamas podcast, everybody. This is Cole Tyndall. I'm your host, and we got a fresh face on the podcast for the first time today. We have Barely Trev.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you're right. I haven't been on before.
Yeah, dude.
Oh, well, in that case, my name is Barely Trev.
Barely Trev.
And it's great to be on.
Yeah, man. We found this spot the other day on Airbnb, and we were looking for whoever owned it, and it just it happened to be open. We just kind of started pulling doors here, and you were here, so.
Yeah, I was wondering who was banging on my door, but it's good to meet you guys.
No, but for real, we've been making music with Trev, Jorge longer than me, but definitely for the last while. We put out Pockets, all three of us together in February of this year, and we've been kind of just all doing our own thing mostly since then. And these two guys just dropped Work. And we're out here just checking out this festival that we had gone to in Atlanta. Went to the Indie Tribe Festival. What did you guys think about that?
Yeah, it was fire. It was crazy. I've never seen so many Christian hip hop artists all in the same spot, which I thought was cool. It was cool to link up with people.
Kind of wild.
And we all met a bunch of people for the first time that seemed like we've been friends with for a while online.
Yeah.
That you met them in person for the first time, so it was cool.
Right. I thought Wande was a peach.
Facts.
What a nice girl, man. She was so nice.
She went crazy. Her set and Eclesso, I think, in my opinion, were the two craziest sets.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, and it's I noticed she had two hype men. It was tight.
I don't know about you, but even though What Up RG only had 2 songs, I had a blast at his.
Dude, RG, bro.
Eclesso went crazy though. I gotta give props to him. He went insane.
He did. It was cool to meet a lot of those guys. I hadn't really I don't know. I feel like it's weird to just be like, "Yo, what's up?" in any kind of way that isn't natural.
Right.
So it was just nice to sort of find the right time and just be like, "Yo, it's good."
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I started checking out Trev's music through Jorge. You guys know how me and Jorge met, but Trev has been working very hard for a long time. And I remember when his album dropped, me and Nick and Jorge had been hanging out, and we were on the way back from taking photos in Minneapolis, and Jorge was like, "Yo, let's play this album," and it blew my mind, man. It blew my mind. I thought it's called RUMT Love. It's spelled RUMT, the letters and then love, and I think you have a really kind of almost indie rock sort of sound infused with just being a rapper, and it's just kind of I don't know. It's hard to pin down what you sound like other than just saying you're those two things together.
Right. Just kind of be doing everything. Yeah. Well, and it comes from just all the influences, you got, Cage the Elephant chilling right here, and then right next to it, you got Daniel Caesar, then right next to that, you got Drizzy. So, I just try to kind of infuse everything that I'm interested in doing. And this album was the first album I've put out where I actually knew how to play guitar, so that went into a lot of the music, producing and writing on the guitar, as opposed to just using beats or whatever. So I'm really happy with how it came about, but appreciate you saying that.
Mm-hmm. When we're comparing RUMT Love to the early stuff, because I haven't been there from the jump, but I've been there from pretty early on, and I was blessed enough to hear the process. So first song that you dropped on SoundCloud, I was able to hear that not too long after it dropped. And then your debut mixtape was The Stars Don't Look at Us, which is only on SoundCloud. And hearing that, and then progressively hearing how your music has evolved, what are the biggest differences from now compared to then that you could say aside from the guitar, from learning the guitar?
Yeah. I like to think I'm a lot better at singing now, for one. like singing is definitely something that you can improve at, you know, like people don't think it's something you can improve at, but it really is. But overall, just like understanding of music and songwriting, I think just like it's just something I've always kind of kept at and like kept trying to get better at, and found ways to improve on. So I think just like you just hear it in the music overall and in the songwriting. But yeah, it's always, I mean, everything I've ever released has always been true to like me. It's always been like who I am. And so it's cool to just look back and listen to music that I dropped in high school or early college, late college, up until now. And like, I can hear the different seasons of my life that I was going through at the time of releasing music. And I was like, oh, this is how I was feeling at that time. And so it's cool to listen back to it and kind of hear like how I've changed, and then like listen back and reflect on the things that I've gone through as a person too.
Right. And one thing that I feel like would be dope to let everybody watching know is when I'm listening to a lot of like your older projects, like for example, The Stars Don't Look at Us, it definitely felt like there was like a cohesiveness, and then it all got tied in at the last song. And then Close for Winter, it felt like it was a compilation of a bunch of different songs, but it all like cohesively worked well, like sonically, where it didn't feel like any songs were like out of place. But Are You Empty Love, the biggest difference between that one and all the other projects that you put out in the past, it felt like there was an actual, like a legitimate concept, an actual, like, aside from just like it being cohesive, it felt like there was a story being told. So if you could explain what that story would be, like, what was it and was it intentional to have a story behind Are You Empty Love?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. No, I agree with that. That's a good point. I think
I was going to ask that question also.
Well, yeah, and you know, I think Are You Empty Love, just because it was made over the course of so long within the project, like those different seasons that I went through over the 2 years of working on it, like come out pretty blatantly in my eyes anyway, maybe not to other people, but like from when I first started working on it, there were songs when I was in a relationship. There were songs when I was working on it that I made when I was, you know, going through a breakup, or when I was at my highest highs or at my lowest lows. And so like there's just a lot of different parts of life reflected on this album. And ultimately, when I came up with the name, it was like me coming to the realization that like I was the one that was empty. And it was like a reflection of like, Are you empty, love? Like, I'm chasing the things in my life that weren't making me happy or weren't fulfilling me. And that's why, as a culmination, I think it feels so cohesive, because it's just me going through those phases of life and trying, like, coming to an understanding of what really is going to fulfill me in life. And I think that's what really makes it feel cohesive for people when they listen, because there's just so much life experience put into it, as opposed to recording a project in a 2-week span and then putting it out.
Right. And that's the beauty of the project, is like you can definitely tell that everything that you just explained, like the highs, the lows, like different phases in your life, like you can tell that those are put together really well in the project. But one thing that I always see artists ask that I want to know about this project is, were there any songs that almost didn't make the album, whether it be like, oh, this song is a little bit too old, or like, I'm not sure how people are going to react to this, like whether it's one or two songs, like which one would that be that you might have thought like, okay, maybe this won't work, and then you ended up saying, nah, like this has to go on the project?
Yeah. I would say Traveler, or Love Will Always Be There. Two kind of just album cuts, like nothing like, no, like they're not singles or anything like that. It's just more, those were both ones that I had like really rough demos for at the time, and then before I put it out, got them mixed and really finished up, and ended up just fitting in with the whole theme of the project. I think Love Will Always Be There, I showed you and Rosie one night when it was just a demo. It wasn't, I don't even think it had drums or piano or anything that Cara added on there. And I was like, yeah, I'm not going to put this on the project, but check this out. And you were both like, you need to put that on the project. And I was like, all right.
Yeah, definitely. I love that one. But the interesting thing about Traveler was the version that's on the album isn't the version that you originally had. And I remember all the trouble that happened during the part that eventually got like substituted. So I want to know like what made like what if you could describe what that original version was, what was it, and how did you come up with the version that ended up coming out now on the album?
Yeah, it was like a two-part guitar song, and the second part just we had tried recording it and tried some different production things and just didn't really. It just wasn't hitting, and I ended up finding a freestyle that I did from a couple of years ago, like a couple months later, and ended up just cutting it up and like putting it at the end of the song, and it's just like I love just having a song that's completely one mood like that is, soft guitar or whatever, and then completely changing into something different and just catching people off guard. So it just felt kind of almost like funny to do. Like I just like messing with people like that sometimes. So.
Well, it's cool because like I feel like that's something you haven't only done on one project. Like having one idea that you end up making by itself, but then you're like, oh, what if I use that here? Like that's something you had done like with that floating idea. I know that like that's not out yet, so like we'll be low key about it. But like you had like this one kind of melody and like lyric idea that ended up going, as sort of like a, what is it, like a bridge on your newest song. And I thought it was like so much more effective because like putting yourself in that different space, to write something, I think it almost translates so much better when you're listening to it because you're like, it takes you to a different place. You're not like, oh, cool, he just thought of a melody to the same thing. It's like, wow, this feels like a real shift in the song. Yeah. Because it was really like you in two different spaces, like at the time of composition. I don't know, something I thought was kind of interesting because I feel like, it makes the effect, much stronger.
And I think sometimes like it helps to, those were both of those occurrences were songs that I had written a year or two ago and then came back and added something now to it. And I think like when you introduce something like that in a song, it's a fresh perspective to the listener. And when you give yourself time to have a fresh perspective on life too, and then add it, like, comes in so much more genuinely than trying to just switch it on the spot.
Yeah.
Because you see it if you listen to a song you made a year ago, now you see it in such a different light, and you might think of something, it might make you feel a totally different way now than it did then, and that might inspire you to add something completely different to it.
Right.
And so I like that. Like, it's great to make a song, put it out right away, but like if you have songs sitting in the vault, like go back and listen to them and like you might find something, like whether use it for an interlude or like repurpose it somehow, add something to it. Like it's super cool. I do that all the time. I'll just go listen to all of my old songs in the vault like probably once a month and just maybe something will inspire me that didn't then. I don't know. I think it's kind of cool.
Yeah. How about you, Jorge? You got any things like that, like little beats you had worked on, like put down for a while, pick back up, and you're like, oh, I gotta finish this?
I'm trying to think. Work, yeah. That's great, transitioning into something recent. So Trevor and I actually recently put out a song for my album, which is the third single. It's called Work. We originally one night were just hanging out, kicking it with some people, and then I think we just were tired, so we went back to your crib for a little bit, and we wanted to work on something. And I remember I pulled up my computer, and I looked through some sessions to see if there was anything that I had open. And I realized that I had the session for Work sitting there for like a year at that point. And how that song came about was I was actually at a homie of ours named Kenny C's crib, and there was a different beat that I recorded the chorus on. Then I found a new beat by my homie Jacko, shout out to him, and I laid the same exact chorus down. I loved it, but for some reason I couldn't really think of a first verse. I knew how I wanted to attack the second verse, but I wasn't really sure how to go about it, so I just let it sit there. But I always wanted to do something with it, so I ended up linking up with you, and I was like, oh, like, why not? Like, anytime that you and I link up for like something hard, like it always turns out dope. And then we didn't really think of like anything of the song at the time. We just kind of just spit something and we got it done in under an hour. But what's dope about it is like we naturally made like a sequel to the first collab that we had, which was a song called Harden. And to this day, I feel like I hear about that song all the time. Like people love that thing. So it's cool to...
Yeah, you said something about the white boys just rapping their booties off. People love it.
Yeah, we can talk about that actually. We last night we had a conversation or no, I think it was like 2 nights ago or something like that. We had a conversation about how it's interesting to see how, for me personally, when I've been rolling out my album, the first 2 songs were songs that I'm extremely proud of. First was a song called True with my homie Isaac Rose, and the second is a song called Together with my homie Francie Flores. And they're both really different than anything that I've dropped.
Produced by your homie Cole Tyndall.
Yeah, Cole produced the second single Together.
With guitar by your homie Nick Uden.
Shout out to Nick too.
Your homie Trev likes it.
And liked by your homie Trevor.
Yeah.
Facts and shared. But anyways, no, I love those songs because when you compare them to a lot of the stuff that I put out, I feel like now I'm more, not saying that I'm not a rapper, because I definitely am, but I love the fact that those 2 songs represent something bigger than just me rapping. Because like Together, I came up with the melody for the chorus. For True, it wasn't just like a thing where like Isaac just did his thing and then I rapped over it. Like we both had something to do with the production and the creation of the songwriting and all that. So I love the fact that I created basically like pop rap songs that were completely different than the stuff that I had put out before. And they got really good reception, like for sure. But what's interesting is for work, I'm going to be honest, I barely did anything for promo. And in less than a week, the video already has like 1.5K views on YouTube. Like, it's gotten a ton of shares, and like on the first day, everyone was going crazy for it. Like I got Snapchats from people like premiering the song with their family, like in the living room, like they put it up on the big screen and everything.
We put the least amount of work into that song.
Yeah,
probably.
I put the least amount of work on that song. Like I barely, like not saying that I like never try when I rap, but it's like I feel like I've mastered rapping just like you two have.
We both
like,
put verses down in like 20 minutes.
Yeah, and
tops.
When I say mastering, I feel like anybody that is in a craft and they've really mastered it, that doesn't mean that they're the best at it, but it just becomes second nature. And with rapping, I feel like it's so second nature to me that when I do like fast stuff or like a quick chorus or something that has no effort into it, like work, I'm almost like, oh, this is dope. Like this is gonna be fun to perform. This is gonna be like fun for like working out and stuff. But I'm not as proud of it as creating something like I did with the last 2 singles. But
you're basically saying like you notice that people are a lot happier sometimes with the more surface level music, but you get a lot more out of making deeper music. Yeah,
but specifically, I think it's interesting to see how like I may be Mexican, but like I'm a white rapper. Like I'm not gonna front about it. Like I know how I look and stuff, and it's interesting to see how like when white boys like go crazy with the raps and like they do the double time flow. Like everyone just goes crazy and they're like, oh, like this is so.
You don't
nuts.
have to ever be saying anything or like. But on the flip hand, I think like real rap fans. I mean, we were just listening to Logic's album and he's just doing his basic fast flow stuff, and we're just like like I don't like listening to fast rap. Like
neither do I.
Like any of my songs where I'm rapping fast like that, I don't like listening to those, to be honest. But
it's kind of exhausting.
It is.
I mean, Token has that one line off of the song YouTube Rapper. I don't know if you know that song, but I think he is dissing Logic. He says, how many syllables can you fit into a line with no content? Use your own logic. No comment.
But even like that even happened to you, Trevor, I think, because I mean, I can't speak for any of the other videos, but I know for Ditto, that went kind of crazy the first day that it released. Like everyone was sharing it, like people were going nuts. Like
yeah,
was that
Ditto's more than just like
I don't think it's rippity rappity.
Yeah, rippity rappity song. It's like more like
it's like
cypher. I think it's like
yeah.
It's kind of different.
Yeah, for sure.
But I don't know. I felt like the reaction for that just like went nuts, and it was just interesting to see how like for some reason I don't know what it is, like whether it's just like the antic of people like rapping fast never gets old. But like, it's interesting to see how like that's so low effort for people that have actually mastered the craft. But then to the public, they look at it as like the super duper like impressive thing that's like, oh, like for yo-yoing, I'm sure that there's tricks to you that are like, bro, this is so basic. Like this is like nothing. But if you were to do it like out in public or like in a video,
or to
like,
other yo-yo players, yo-yoers.
Yeah, they would be like, yeah, that's basic. But then in the public, they'd be like, yo, this is so fire.
They'd probably be like, yo, this is so fire.
Yeah.
They would say that. Well, I mean, I don't know if I hear like the metaphor you're trying to make. I don't know. I feel like a lot of people that are just like listening to music, I mean, at least my interpretation of them is that they're like a little bit more picky than that. But I guess maybe not, huh?
Yeah, I'm not saying everybody thinks this way. I'm just saying from what I've seen, not only like with like me and Trevor with
Seems
the
like your
examples
audience enjoys your more like turn uppy stuff.
Yeah, it seems like people are really impressed by the whole fast rap thing, but it's interesting how we know this because we've mastered the craft, that fast rapping really isn't that impressive. It's like you can almost like code like no lyricism behind it. Like you could literally say absolutely nothing when you're rapping fast with little effort, but just because you have a certain tempo and a cadence, like people think that you're going in.
I don't know. Even like my best raps that are like that, like my best ones for me, I still look at them and I'm like, oh, this sucks. I don't know. To be honest, like that's like I always just like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't 100% relate, but I understand your point. I think that maybe if I like kind of simplify it, like at least to kind of what I would say I agree with a little bit more is just it seems like sometimes the more consumable music performs better, where it's like I would rather speak about something that, you know, it's like maybe something that I'll find in like a low of my life, or like in a moment where it's like not as easy to just kind of just produce something that I've heard before. I don't know. I kind of would like to, you know, introduce a new voice, and I think sometimes it just takes time for people to get used to that.
Well, with that being said, actually, I'm interested in knowing, like, what do you guys consider to be either your best verse or the best song, whether it's released or unreleased? And why?
I don't know. I don't really think I have a best verse. I think every verse I write is my best one for sure. Like that's how I feel in the moment. I also like I don't know. I always feel like there's more that I can do, but sometimes I feel like you just got to be content. Like I feel like that's just art in general.
Right.
You know, you just got to like let go, you know? Like you're Jack in the water in Titanic, and it's like they still love each other, but it's like it's time to move on, you know? But I mean, I don't know. I would say my favorite songs are the ones that I've made that have just come out of like a real experience. Like I really like my song Midnight.
Yep.
I think that's probably my favorite song of mine, and that one, and I'd say Last Goodbye is probably my next one.
Yeah.
But both of those songs were just like written exactly as I was feeling something. Or like this new one I was making, the like try to ignore you, but I feel so helpless. Like that one. It's not out yet, but when hopefully if anybody ever hears this after it is out, you'll know what I'm talking about. That one is another one of those songs where it's like just immediately after being in a real experience, it's like I'm just letting it all out, and I feel like that's when I'm actually filling each section of the song with something that has substance. And I feel like if I'm just like, what can I make right now? That's when I'm in trouble, you know? Like when I'm not drawing from my life. What you think?
No, I agree. Last Goodbye gets me, you know, a little chub for sure. I'm not gonna lie. Like, yeah, that's a bob, bro. That's my favorite one of yours.
What about for you? Like, what would you say like your favorite either verse or song is, and why?
I got 3 unreleased ones that are all my favorites.
Is Valentine one of them?
Yep.
That's my favorite song.
And why are they my
Valentine,
favorites? Is
bro.
because they're good. And that's all I'll say about that.
Nice.
Your favorite? I think my favorite work you've ever done, Jorge.
Yeah.
It's hard because you talk about, you know, the fast rap stuff, but I think my favorite performance of yours was the last video you put up on your OnlyFans, and it was you went off in that video.
Link in bio.
Yeah, dude. My favorite song of yours, Jorge. What's my favorite
Now
song?
you're gonna say an actual favorite song. You're gonna make me look like a douchebag.
Yeah. I didn't.
My
do
favorite
that.
song of yours is 4 a.m.
Yeah, that's all you, bro.
Yeah.
4 a.m.
I feel like and it was funny is
Oh, I
I
thought
think
that was a pillow. Nah.
what's funny is I think that's actually the least streamed song on that project too.
Yeah, it's kind of like an interlude, or it is an interlude.
Yeah.
Right?
My favorite songs that I've ever recorded, 4 a.m. is in my top 3, but 2 of them are unreleased. One of them is just like it's another interlude on my upcoming album, and then the other one is it's the last track on the album, and it kind of ties everything that I've been through over the last couple of years together. And I've kept a lot of the album under wraps. Like there's songs that you haven't heard yet, there's songs that Cole hasn't heard yet, but this last track, I honestly think the only people that have heard it are Jose, who actually helped me produce the song too, and Kenny C, because he was there when I was making part of the song. So literally only 2 people have heard it. I've kept that one, like that's like my most secret track that I have. And when you guys listen to it, you'll understand why. But that's probably the one that I'm the most proud of, just because of the vulnerability and how it kind of ties everything in that I've been through over the last couple of years leading up to the album together.
Mine's probably, I thought of it. It's the one with you have with Rosie and the other guy. I don't know.
Oh yeah.
Do people? Can I say the name?
You can say the name. It's the next single.
Yeah, Noose is a freaking fire song. So good. And Rosie has been on, like, if you hear any of Trev or Jorge's music, you'll see his name. And I've never had him on the podcast. I've only met him once, but he blew my mind. He kind of seems like, Jorge, you said that he like can put the mic down for months at a time and then just pick it up and just crush.
And just make a hit.
Yeah, he's fire. I was stoked to hear that, and I think he definitely did something crazy on this song. It's probably my favorite song of yours.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind talking about it a little bit. Noose is my next single, and how it came about was originally I was actually gonna make my album like no features from like homies. Like I was gonna get maybe 1 or 2 features from like people that I'd never worked with. Or like bigger artists. Like originally the only features were gonna be Isaac and Francie, and then I was gonna take the whole album by myself. But then as time passed and I started realizing like I didn't come to this point by myself. Like I came with like all my closest friends. I decided that, okay, the only people I want working on this project are the people that I came up with. Then you and I finished work. Dylan ended up mastering most of the project aside from like a couple tracks. And then Kenny C actually has a bunch of background vocals on the album. So the only person that was left was Rosie. And like I said, Rosie, he's definitely on his Frank Ocean. he goes MIA a lot because he's a busy dude, but he also just likes to have his privacy. And I was bugging him for a long time, and I was like, bro, you need to make the album. Like, I need at least, I don't care if it's a chorus or verse, we need to make something. And he's like, bet. So I pull up, and we literally had like a 3-hour period where we had to make something. I pull up this beat, and I think literally it only took him like 2 takes to make that chorus. And I laid my verse down, and then I sent the song over to another homie of ours, and we knocked it out. And after I mixed it, it's easily one of my favorite songs that I've ever made. And I think it's one of my best verses I've ever done.
Yeah, I would say.
That's fine.
Are you working on a project? You working on a project?
No, just singles probably. Same as you.
Yeah, same as me. Yeah, I just like, I don't know. It's hard to get the same, I think, shine on your music when you release a project. At least it would be like that if I released one right now, I think. But I've been like studying Russ for a while, you know? I don't know that anybody has made such a move that sort of seemed like against the grain, but I think that's why it paid off. You know what I'm saying? It's like, right. I think it's all the singles, and it's the singles approach, but it's like now it's like, well, the singles approach is just kind of the meta. So it's like, what can I do? Right. That's the next thing. That's the next like Russ thing. You know what I'm trying to say? Yeah. Like, what's the thing no one's doing? Because it's not TikTok like people are doing, but like, what's the next thing? You know, so right. I'm just trying to think about that because it's like so easy to just be the guy that did the thing that the other guy did, and maybe I can get the same thing he got. But it's like the only reason he got what he got is because he didn't do what the other guy did. So am I going to copy him? Are you the voice or the echo? Are you the nail or the hammer?
Right, and that's tough because I mean, there's only really like one of those guys every couple of years. I know like Russ did it.
TikTok, you got people like Pofu.
Yeah, Nick D too. Shout out to him.
Yeah.
Toby Wigway, I think that's his name.
Yes.
Yeah, he's dope. I've only casually heard him, but I know that
he popped off on like Instagram.
Yeah,
which is like not very common. Like rappers aren't just like popping off Insta.
And a lot of people,
but it was just the visual aesthetic.
And a lot of people were really captivated off of like free music back in the day. Like I know we were just talking about Logic, but one big thing that set him apart was this wouldn't work now. But when he started, his whole marketing thing was put out a bunch of free music and basically be essentially a slave to the game. And the only thing you like charge people for are ticket sales and merch, which I'm not like discrediting how much money you make off of that. Like you do make a lot of money off of that, but like I can only imagine what it's like spending a bunch of money on like studio time and like mixing and production and marketing and stuff the way that Logic did, only to put it out for free for like 3 projects. I think it was like 3 Young Sinatra projects, and then finally putting out a project where it's like, all right, this one's actually for sale. But at the time, it worked because free music was like a big thing back then with the mixtapes.
People were discovering stuff on DatPiff, and like blog write-ups were so much more important, and it's just crazy because it's like, that's like, it's almost the same as like the Russ thing. It's like he did something no one had really been doing. Like he had such a mixtape presence. I guess Mac Miller kind of did that.
Yeah, Mac did something similar to that too. I think it's just a matter of like, trying stuff and throwing it at the wall. Because I mean, music is always evolving, especially the marketing aspect of it, and it's really interesting to see how quick like things can go like that. Like something works for someone like a year ago, and then like now it's like irrelevant. Like you shouldn't even bother trying it because everyone's already trying it.
I remember when Chance did all his music for free. It was like revolutionary.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot about that. And then, because Coloring Book was free too, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was the first album to win a Grammy that never had physical copies made.
Yep.
The first
But
digital...
it's all streaming anyway, so now that's just the norm is for all music to be free. You know what I mean? It's crazy.
Right.
Wasn't Jesus is King also... It was Kanye's... No, it was just Kanye's first streaming only. Never mind. That was a good point I just made, I think.
Dude, I really like that point that Cole made about the Jesus is King project.
Because facts.
And especially when... And then when you said...
Wait, hold on. Never mind.
Yeah, and then you said never mind, and that was also a really good point, because like the point that you were making, like you had to go back on it.
Yeah.
So when you told me to never mind that,
right,
that was really good of you, because then I could like
forget it.
Then I could move on in my head.
With the never mind.
With that being said, in other news, Barely Trev here, aka Trayvon, aka Young Spitta, Killa MC, has a show coming up at the end of September. You want to talk about that?
Yeah, first half, September 27th. About to be crazy. First one back in Minneapolis since COVID, so.
Is there, so a little background about the last time that you were there. The show almost sold out, and it was very unexpected just based on what was seen in the background. I think at the time, like...
It was the NCAA National Championship game the same night.
And it was a Monday.
In Minneapolis. So right down the street, there was the game was going on. And it was a Monday night, so.
Yeah, and I remember pretty clearly, we were all getting prepped and kind of just mentally prepared for what was going to happen. And we were really only expecting 50, maybe max 70 people.
Yeah, something like that.
And then I forgot if it was Eli or Dylan, but someone came up to us and was like, well, I just looked at the ticket sales, and we were thinking, 50, 60 maybe. And they hit us with 120 tickets were sold in pre-sale. And all of us just looked at each other shocked. And me and my homie went out the back door to see if there were people waiting. And all of a sudden there's just this huge line of people waiting. And they all turn around to look at us. And I just slammed the door shut because I was like, yep, nope. This is definitely happening. Then more tickets were sold. And I think we were 30, 40 tickets away from selling it out or something like that. And now, obviously, the numbers are a lot bigger for you. You've got some really dope artists opening up for you. You got Dylan Reese, who's been doing this for a really long time and has a substantially decent-sized fan base. And then you got Kinfu, who has recently dropped a song, Clementines. Awesome song. Same with the video. And with that being said, what can you say is going to be different about this show compared to the last time? Aside from, obviously, you having more traction.
I love that you said a substantially decent-sized following.
Hey, man, I started a little bit, bro.
That's fire. I'm going to start using that. Someone asked me, how big are you? I have a substantial, decent-sized following.
Anyways.
Yeah, I'm a small to medium-scale artist.
I have a gigantic, okay-sized following,
I started. Shout out to Dylan Reese, though. He's an amazing artist.
This show's going to be fun. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be I'm just more mature as a performer, and the music's going to be better. And first time really performing all the songs on Are You Empty Love live. It's the first time performing Are You Empty Love live. I did one virtual show for it. So that's going to go crazy. Full live band, merch, bunch of really cool people hopefully going to be there around Minneapolis. Like, it'd be great for people to come, even just like network. And I think it's going to be a super fun night. So,
Is there one song that is off the album that you're really excited to perform live?
yeah, I'm excited to perform, well, all of them. But Ditto's going to be fun with you popping out.
Maybe. We'll see.
And then
I need 10K in the bank account before I pop out.
and then Trenches River is going to be fun with the full band.
That one's gonna be
Yeah,
awesome.
man.
That one's gonna be awesome.
Some live drums. That one in Home would be fun with some live drums in there.
Are you planning to do the whole album?
I probably won't do every song. I don't want to keep people out there for too long.
If there's anybody watching that's gonna go to the show, are you gonna cut any disappointments and just say which songs are definitely not gonna get performed?
Definitely not.
Just expect the one you like to be performed.
Yeah, the one you like is going to be performed.
Sick.
I'll say that.
Yeah. Only if you show up though.
I'm actually just going to do Astronaut in Space covers for 14 songs straight.
And that, there, ladies and gentlemen, means that the show is over.
Astronaut in space.
Really? Is that what that one was called?
What did you want?
The What You Know About...
Oh, astronaut in the ocean.
Astronaut in the Ocean.
Astronaut in the ocean.
That's how it does to show how we don't know these TikTok songs.
if you felt like an astronaut in space, you would just feel like an astronaut.
What you know about rolling up in the stratosphere, which your face goes numb and your face is a Addison Ray here.
Last thing about the show.
I love the commitment on that.
No, for real. So, how did you get to know Kin Fu and Dylan Reese?
Very quick.
What?
So you got two really
I ain't
dope.
no Dark Knight, but I still got Gladys here. That's up.
All right. So you got two really dope openers in Dylan Reese and Kin Fu. How did you
And my
tap
Apple
in
Watch
with them?
Lite, because I still got a paddock here.
Oh.
I'm done. I quit.
I got that 6-pack, like a pack of beer.
Yo. Where those shots at? Catching flack from here. Try and top that.
Just because I can't come up with the bar.
Flop
don't
your
mean-
rap career.
Oh, yeah, that was a good bar. I'm done now. I was going to say something, but I can't top that.
Anyways,
Should we just keep cutting off Jorge every time he tries to ask a question?
you know, I'm doing my best impression of Nardwar here, and you guys are killing my vibe, okay?
Naruto would never have said that.
Because I'm not Nardwar. I'm JJL. Anyway, so Kin Fu and Dylan
Who
Reese.
are you, JJL?
Who are you?
I'm just a kid who grew up, on the, north suburb Minneapolis, and I just want to make music for, my friends.
Barely Trev. And here
Oh, yeah,
I
you're
have a
talking about-
present for you. It is. I don't know. I can't do it anymore. Anyway, so how'd you get to know Kin Fu and Dylan Reese?
Oh, well, Dylan Reese, Dylan Height, the boy, toured with them. And I think Dylan Height met him because when Rosie actually opened for him in Minneapolis at one time. So I think that's how the whole gang kind of got linked up. And then Kin Fu's been my best friend since high school, like 11th grade. So yeah, man, it'll be good. It's like a cool little squad. And Dylan's flying in from LA. And Kin Fu's still based in Minneapolis. So
Yo, Kin Fu has nice teeth.
yeah, he's a good looking dude.
You got them clementines.
I like his hoop earring and his tall socks with the slides.
Touchdown, I'm in Uptown. Tell me where you at.
Give me 5. That song's fire. Who mixed that?
Me.
They had somebody. I know Alex Kimball produced it. I don't know who they had mixed up. Alex might have, or they sent it to someone else.
It's mad clean.
Yeah, it does sound mad clean.
And the boy Sawyer shot that video too. He just shot the video I did. I just shot the video for Numb. So that's about to come out, and he shot that. So by association, I guess me and Kin Fu are kind of homies too.
Mm-hmm.
Association, But yeah, I like his song. Clementine is so fire. Is he gonna put out more stuff?
Mm-hmm. No, never. He's retired.
Does he have more stuff like lined up?
Mm-hmm.
He's just gonna play one song and then walk off the stage.
Here for one song and one song.
He could just run that one back like 5 times and then walk off.
Yeah,
I wouldn't get old. That song is a bob.
it's really good.
Are
Well-
we ready for some parting remarks?
Sure.
Yeah, let's do it. Do I have to make a parting remark first? I bid thee farewell. Go out in peace and serve the Lord. Thanks be to God.
Amen.
Amen.
How about you, Jorge? Yeah, we gotta leave it at that. I do have one thing. What you gotta say? Do you have
I
something?
like how you just run with the let's cut Jorge off thing.
No,
I didn't
no,
even
no,
say
no.
anything.
That now it's subconscious. I gotta stop. How are you feeling? Anything you want to add?
Shout out, what up, RG?
Shout out to RG. It's so cool to
That's
see
it.
him, man. I was wondering if like we'd see anybody else from Reach, but I mean that was amazing because they started doing Coming In Hot, and like right when it's like the wake 'em up, everybody was like, where's he at? Because Andy was there, right?
Yeah.
Because it was no big deal set, and then Andy came out, and it was like, is Lecrae gonna come? He didn't, because they did Coming In Hot.
Also, shout out, Not
'Cause they did
Clyde.
Willie.
You're amazing.
Who?
That's it. Not Clyde.
Not Cloud is tight.
Yeah.
I guess all I have to say is, these are some of my favorite people in the whole world, and I hope that if anyone listening to this has an opportunity to support them, I would appreciate it. You could just play the music. That's really all I ask. Just listen to it and just know a lot of heart was put into it. I do have one thing I do always when I close this podcast, and I like to ask my guests what they are grateful for. So I'm going to start with you, Trev.
Man, I'm grateful for you guys being able to come down here, kick it with us for the weekend, kick it here in Charleston for a little bit. And I'm grateful to have some sunny weather for lighting also for the podcast.
It's hot outside.
Friends and sun.
Is it me? Mm-hmm. I am grateful to have moments like this trip where I can enjoy living in the moment.
Right. That's it. Jorge took my answer, but I'm not going to think of another one. Honestly, it's literally just that. Like I've really been working on being present and being in the moment and not like worrying about the future. And I feel like this whole trip I've just been kind of like, yeah, we'll do that eventually, but this is what I'm doing right now, and I like that, Haven't like gotten crazy excited about certain things. Haven't gotten like worried about anything. It's like I'm just kind of right here, right now, and I think that that's a good place to be, all the time. Like, you know what I'm trying to say? Mm-hmm.
Facts.
So I'm psyched on that. But yeah, I appreciate everybody hanging with us today. If you're listening to the audio, the video should be up on YouTube within a couple days. And if you're watching the video now, hello, we appreciate you. We're waving, and if you're listening, you should go watch the video so you see that. But shout out to everybody. Live well, and have a good day. We'll see you next time.
No Jumper, coolest podcast in the world.
What?
I don't know.
All right, peace.